Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 cents for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chain. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait until you're free.
It was very casual. We were just kind of walking off the field, and he was like, "So what you gonna do?" I said, "I'm gonna come back next year." He was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, I'm excited. Let's go to Atlanta." And I was like, "Yes, sir. Let's make it happen."
99% of the people in this world want to be great. Would you agree with that? Yeah, they're called wannabes. 1% work to be great. Drop the mic on that.
Yeah, I didn't sign any mustard bottles or golf balls. Maybe wish I had had a golf ball that night, you know what I mean? But I'm only kidding. All right.
There on the field, the pride of the Southland band crisply marches into the Giant T. The rear, the roar of 97,000 fans rises with each rhythmic step. In the background, George Beatsis is singing "Fight, Balls, Fight." The orange and white Shakers flood the air. The Volunteers are ready at the north end of the football field to burst through the gate. They're coming now, racing onto the field through the Giant T. In that magic moment that says, wherever you are, it's football time in Tennessee.
Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. My name is Boogie Bentley.
I'm Balls JP.
I'm Snake.
63-6. Tennessee takes care of business tonight. There's a lot to talk about. Played a lot of young guys. There were some exciting things. There's always going to be some questions. Man, stay off of social media. Just stay off of social media during football games. That's the best advice I can give to everybody. But let's talk a little bit about just the atmosphere in general, JP. You know, going into this thing, I guess last year we kind of started talking about sellouts because of, you know, the Ole Miss game sold out, and then they talked about it was the first sellout since Butch Jones in 2017. When's the last time you sold out a game like Akron at 7 o'clock, third game of the season? That's got to been a while.
Yeah, I'd say it has. I think they said for a non-Power 5 school it was 2014, but I'm pretty sure that was Utah State, which is first game of the season that year. So, yeah, that's what we were talking downstairs watching it. You know, I have no idea when the last time that they sold the place out. But, yeah, I mean, at the start of the game, I mean, it looked fairly packed for sure. So, I mean – its fan base is always hungry for a winner, and you know, for a good product. There's no doubt about it that if you have a good product and you know, you give us some hope, they'll these fans will show up.
Snake, it's your favorite week of the year. It's your favorite week of the year. Are they going to continue that energy, the excitement? The Gators are in a nail biter right now. They got let's see, it looks like South. Does South Florida have the ball?
Yeah, they're driving. Yeah. It's like
South Florida has the ball down 3. This isn't a typical Talkin VAWLS postgame show, but this is something worth keeping an eye on. Do you think there's anything to be said about Florida being in, yet again, another dogfight, Snake, or it's just Florida and you're expecting a loss? That probably shouldn't start the show this way.
That's awful. Oh, but no, I think if they pull off the win, I think it can be, you know, a little bit of a confidence booster for them. Pulling off this game and then the Utah game, but they are vulnerable this year. I think they're more vulnerable, and our offense. I'm ready to roll, man. Let's go, right?
I think on paper, it's Tennessee, right? The analytics say Tennessee. The talking heads say Tennessee. The only thing that scares you is because it's Florida and everything that we've been through.
Oh, man, yes. So I will not pick Tennessee to beat Florida, but because I can't jinx it, right? So, but man, I'm really excited about this game coming up. We've done everything we needed to do, right? We're right where we want to be. We've gotten everybody some experience this year that we needed to get in the games. This is it. Let's go.
I think that was one of the things about this game, too. It was a lot like the Ball State game in a sense of they didn't really wait till they got up by a big margin. They were playing young guys early. And if you kind of watch the flow of the game, you know, a lot of people, again, social media, it's the worst, but are complaining about them moving the ball. They were playing a lot of young guys, and then once they kind of got down in the red zone, that's when you would kind of see the starters come back out. But that was the point of this game, is to get a lot of guys experience. A lot of positives to take away from this thing. Let's run down the chat, see who's hanging out. We got 400 people hanging out watching us as they watch Florida and South Florida wrap up. Let's see who's hanging out in the chat. Swamp Donkey Sniper is here. Says, Milton for Heisman. You know what's going to be funny? All the Bailey bros, all the guys that loved Harrison Bailey and hated Joe Milton are now going to switch and love Joe Milton and hate Hendon Hooker. That's what we're going to see this year. Will B is in the house. What's up, Will? Good to see you in the chat. Wayne is here. What's up, Wayne? JJ Banks, Robert McGee, some of the old faithfuls coming on in. Appreciate you guys being here. Smash that thumbs up. We're going to get rolling. Smash that thumbs up. Hit share. Share out the link. We are like 300 subscribers away from 15,000 subscribers. So share that thing out. Let's blow this up. Let's hit 15,000 tonight. So do your part, Talkin VAWLS Nation. Hit that share button. Blast it out on social media. Stevie J dropping a $50 super chat right out of the gate. That ain't cheap. We got to play the clip. It's early, but we're going to play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Stevie J for $50. That ain't cheap. We appreciate the old tip in the tip jar. Says, ready to eat some gator tail next week. Go Big Orange. Man. Go. I'm trying to find the confidence. Look, we're going to break down this Akron game. We're going to talk about everything we saw. We'll probably get back over and talk some Florida after they wrap their game up. A lot of you guys being generous right out of the gate, dropping some super chats. So let me go back and catch those real quick, and then we'll kind of get some opening thoughts on this Tennessee-Akron game from earlier today. Dakota and Evan Counts, Dakota VFL, Evan Counts, hanging out in the chat in the middle of the game. In the middle of the game, they're hanging out. Dakota drops a $2 super chat, says, I'm so happy for Milton. It was a beautiful sight. Evan Counts follows that up with a $2 super chat, says, Joe Milton looks like he's throwing Nerf balls. It was good to see. It was good to see Joe Milton get to go in there and actually throw the ball around and have some success doing that. John Hill for 10, thank you for the super chat. Let's go Big Orange. Got to watch those RB passes and across the middle against the Gators. Yeah. Middle of the field, something we're going to talk about this defense tonight. Xavier for 5. Thank you, Xavier. Appreciate that. What a very glorified scrimmage game. Everybody looked good on different sides of the ball. Let's take care of business next week. Go Big Orange. Why is my super chats all separated out? That's weird. Mark Wilson for 2. Mark Wilson 2 for 10. Thank you for the super chat. What a crazy game. Just domination, I felt like. Adam Cook for 12. Thank you for the super chat. Before we get too deep, this is what a full year membership costs. Just saying. $12? What is he talking about? A full year? Oh,
$1 a month.
Yeah, I was confused because I thought he was maybe talking VAWLS Elite. I didn't know. I got a little confused there. Bear Strength Fitness for 2. Thank you for the super chat. My family laughed at my prediction of 62-3. I said 63-10, so yeah, pretty close there. Thank you for the super chat, Bear Strength Fitness. All right, let's talk a little football, and we're going to do just like we did last week. We're going to kind of circle back around. We'll come back and hit your super chats as the night goes on. We appreciate the donations and the tips. JP, opening thoughts, bell to bell, whistle to whistle. What would you think of this football game against Akron?
I mean, Tennessee did what they were supposed to do. The game plan, the plays, everything I thought was what Tennessee was supposed to do. They came out, they overwhelmed a undermanned team. There wasn't any doubt. in it. I just hate that certainly we got a couple of our key players banged up there. So that's the biggest thing that I'm going to be looking at. Obviously coming out of this week is hearing to see if we know just exactly how injured that Tillman and Smalls and Sampson got hurt too. We was talking about that before we went on here. Looked like he got his ankle twisted as well with that. So Tennessee came out. They did what they were supposed to do. Somebody said a glorified scrimmage. It was. It was great, like you said, Boogie, to get all those young guys in early. I thought that was great. I thought it was great to get Dylan Sampson some run with the first team, and I really like what he's bringing to the table for sure. I think that once he just gets more physical and maybe learns the pass protection better, that he's going to be a player for us. And depending on the injury situation, that could be as early as next week potentially.
Wayne Starnes with a $50 super chat as well. You guys being very generous. You guys must be drunk. These late night games, you guys get drunk and start dropping tips. Thank you, Wayne, for the super chat. But we got to play the clip.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
Wayne,
that's the pause in between the two.
I don't know why it catches on that clip. I'm going to have to re-upload it. Awesome. Wayne for $50 says, won $614 today from DraftKings. Here's your slice. Ooh. Go Vols. Well, I appreciate that. I feel like we're the IRS. We'll take a little.
Here's our cut.
Did they make the field goal? Did they miss the field goal?
I'm on a delay, man.
Yeah, I'm delayed too.
Yep, they just missed the field goal.
They just snapped it over or they had it.
Oh my goodness!
Third down, and they just.
All right, let's take it to them next week, man.
So let's. Should we talk about Florida? Or should we come? Let's stick with the Akron game. We'll stick with the Akron game.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll come back and touch on Florida a little bit later if we need to. Snake, what JP kind of ran down there, his opening thoughts. Give me some of your thoughts, but more specifically, some of those young guys that were out there running around making plays. Who kind of piqued your interest that you got to see that maybe we didn't see as much of earlier against Ball State?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it like JP said, all the guys that came in, I thought it was just nice to see the whole, the depth out there. I don't really have a bunch of guys on the top of, in mind that really come to mind that I saw that were just killing it out there. It's just nice. It's almost like we had a whole 2 or 3 deep out there at 2 or 3 different times, I thought, playing well. So that's just encouraging to see, I think. And, it's going to be interesting to see how we match up with the, athleticism of Florida. Are we going to be able to do what we need to do in that game? And but for this game, they came out. We did what we expected to do, like JP said. And, I mean, we got to be happy with this performance. And, I don't know. It was kind of nice to see, Taven Jackson out there, Dylan Sampson killing it. I mean, you can name off a bunch of people, right? So it was just good to see him.
I'll tell you where I probably got the most excited. Thank you, Bear Strength Fitness, for becoming a member of the channel. We appreciate that, buddy. You can use those custom Talkin VAWLS emojis, but I appreciate that support. Where I got the most excited, their quarterback, man. And I know, look, he played tough. DJ Irons, 32 of 44, 241 yards. And Aaron Murray's hyping him up the whole game and talking about, he's going to hit the portal and all that. And it's kind of funny. It's a bit whatever. But at one point, it was 42-0. And that guy's running his mouth like they're in some type of shootout. It was that kid was getting on my nerves, man. He was getting on my nerves. Yeah. And Elijah Herring put him in the dirt twice, back to back. I love seeing. Tim Banks, we talked about the difference between my tone tonight versus my tone after Ball State. Ball State was so dumbed down. and it was so basic. And at times it was tonight too. But I love the fact that it's like 42-0, 42-3, and Tim Banks is still bringing pressure. He's bringing the house. That needs to be the identity of this defense. Just bring pressure. If they beat you, then count on this offense to go score and respond and move on. That's got to be the identity. They have the most success when you're seeing Jeremy Banks flying to the football. You saw Aaron Beasley make some hits again tonight. That kid was beat all to pieces. He made it to the end of the game, unlike Keaton Slovis, but he's going to remember that he played against this Tennessee defense tonight.
Yeah. But
I almost felt like that
Go
there later on that we dialed up more pressure. I think maybe that trash talking that bunch was doing was kind of made the coaches mad too.
Yeah, I think it fired him up. Like you said,
Yeah.
I haven't seen a guy keep going that long, and just it had to get all of us fired up that were watching that game. I think everyone, and I think, like you said, the coaching staff's had enough of it. They went after him some more. So, but man, that like you're talking about, Boogie, the aggressiveness, playing your game. How long has it been since we've had the confidence to go out there and do that, right? And so now I think this team is on a really good path for the first time in a while.
Somebody in the chat saying, Google that final score. I don't know why I'm being told to Google the final score.
Somebody asked what the final score was. I think they're responding to them.
Okay. Okay, good deal.
Yeah.
I was so confused. I was like, what? Did I say something? Did I say something? I would never make a mistake on this channel. Never once have I made a mistake on this channel. JP, go ahead. You were going to say something there a second ago.
I can't even think now.
Well, I'll say something because I saw somebody put it in the chat. Trayvon Flowers should never return another punt at Tennessee as long as he lives. Squirrel White needs to be back there returning punts. You saw the speed. You saw the athlete. Trayvon Flowers, and maybe, we don't see practice. Maybe Squirrel White has trouble fielding the ball. Maybe he coughs up the ball. There could be a reason there. But, JP, you got to be excited about the play he made, at the wide receiver position too. Because
that's a heck of a catch.
I was talking to a listener about it. We were messaging back and forth, and I said I like the fact that it was underthrown and he didn't just go beat him with speed. He actually came back and made a play.
Yeah,
but the Squirrel looked good. Looked good tonight.
Yeah, he did. I mean, I think as far as the punt returning thing, I would say that it's just because that Flowers is a senior and it's experience. I mean, just I doubt that they're very, very comfortable putting a true freshman out there to field punts. Now, obviously last week we saw that Flowers muffed that one for sure, but I don't know if anybody's going to feel really, really good about putting Squirrel out there next week to start the game to field the first punt. Maybe so, but I would have a hard time believing that Heupel and the coaching staff is going to do that for sure.
Yeah, catching punts in high school is a lot different, right? And so give him a little time. He'll be there. I mean, he'll end up doing it, but if the coaching staff thinks he needs to wait a couple weeks or till next year, that's fine with me, because it's a big difference catching a punt off of a dude in college.
But speaking of special teams, though, I mean, last week it was a disaster outside of field goals, and then we missed a field goal tonight. I think it was a 47-yarder, but I think maybe that we just punted once, maybe twice, but one of them should have been blocked. I don't know how that Akron missed it, but the punt very easily could have been blocked again. They have got to get that figured out. They've got to get the punt protection figured out, because it's going to end up costing you.
Yeah, it's going to be a half a second sooner against these teams in the SEC. So they do need to get that figured out.
Yeah, for sure.
Does that concern you? Talking about half a second sooner, you look ahead to Florida. Does the run game tonight concern you? And again, it's Akron at 63-6. Don't anybody get upset because we're going to be negative. I thought Jalen Wright looked good when he was out there, but he had 23 carries, 96 yards, averaged 4.2 per carry. Dylan Sampson looked explosive. Of course, they put the little wrinkle in with the speed option with him. I thought that was a smart little move, and I hope that they're scheming something up for Florida. That they're going to run that little wrinkle, and it'll be a pass play or something. They're going to do something with. They showed that twice for a reason. That play wasn't just in there to go beat Akron. That's not what they were doing. So.
Boogie, what concerns me with the running game? Yes, I mean, we had some good runs, some decent runs, those types of things. And I don't have the stats here in front of me, so I have no idea how many actual rushing yards that we had. But it's the short yardage that is still concerning to me. It's those times when it's 3rd down and 2, 3rd down and 3 that we tend to struggle with. And to me, that's been a struggle of this offensive line for several years. I thought that was a little disappointing tonight.
Team had 238 rushing yards and averaged over 5 yards a carry. But Hooker had a couple for 24. Some guys in mop-up duty had some nice runs too. But, that's something else to talk about. It's Jabari Small at the running back position. You go into this game saying the key is, clean up the mistakes, stay healthy. Those are the 2 key things. Get your young guys some playing time. You mentioned the injuries at the top of the show. Tillman, I think, is going to be fine. They said he came out of 10. He's like, I'm good to go. But they're not going to risk it anymore. That was twice that he had gone down in that game.
Yeah.
And that first one looked nasty on the speed option with Dylan Sampson.
Yeah. That was that one could have very easily been bad with the way that the other player's leg whipped around there. Just thankfully that his leg didn't get caught in the grass and kind of flew up. And it sounds like that it was an ankle even the second time. I almost thought that he was grabbing his knee, but I think that it's all his ankle.
Yeah, I think so too. Brent Bridges for 10. Thank you for the super chat. Says 4 for 4 on 4th down. Sampson looked good. So did Wilk for the one drive we saw him. Thank you, Brent, for the super chat. Yeah, that's something, again, that we harped on all last year. You got to be better in 4th and short. And, Josh Heupel's out there again, the reason I call it a glorified scrimmage. He's not going for it on 4th down in some of those situations, but you want to give your team live in-game reps of situational football. That's why you're going for it in those situations. Let me hit another super chat. Joseph NR for 5. Said Anthony Richardson would be the 3rd best quarterback on our team. I don't know that I disagree with that. I don't think I disagree with that. And the running back tonight, it was kind of he's a dual threat guy. He makes plays with his feet, but he was a little banged up too. But I also think that the starters now, the starting defensive line, did a good job staying in their pass rushing lanes and keeping him contained, bottled up in the pocket. But I thought that was encouraging. Richardson, he just doesn't look very good. Again, we're not going to go into this Florida game, but he was 10 of 18 for 112 yards and 2 interceptions. He did absolutely nothing. He had 7 carries for 24 yards.
You just wait till next week, though, Boogie.
I know. JP.
500 yards.
Don't get snake rolling. The whole chat's going to turn on us. It's going to turn on us.
True.
I was telling people last week, he'll come out against us. He'll have the accuracy of Tom Brady and the legs like Lamar Jackson. So,
we're going to expose him, man. We're going to expose him.
How can you expose him? You can't make him look any worse than he has the last 2 weeks. He's been awful. He looked good against Utah, and they were puking on the sidelines.
Yeah. But
like you're saying, our D-line and our O-line are going to have to really play the game of their lives. I mean, I don't want to see a close game where it comes down to a late turnover or something like that. We need to be up by 3 touchdowns going into the last half of the last quarter, and to do that, we're going to have to really man up there. We're not going to be able to run the ball, up the gut for 3 or 4 yards, 3 times in a row against these guys. They're stout. So, but back to tonight, we saw everything we needed to see tonight. So I'm encouraged, right?
Yeah, and to me, Tennessee needs to worry about Tennessee. I mean, we're joking about Richardson, looking like this and looking like that, and us as fans, we can sit around and we can talk about how Florida's had our number, and we found every way imaginable to lose football games and stuff, but there's very few players on this football team that know anything about that. I mean, other than, last year and, maybe 2020, which wasn't even, Florida absolutely drilled us, all of that stuff. So, all of this stuff that's happened, the last, 20 to 25 years where Florida seemed to always have her number. I mean, at the end of the day, that really doesn't matter with these guys that are going to be out there next Saturday. And Tennessee needs to go into this week focusing on the things that they need to improve upon, because if they do that, Tennessee should win that football game next Saturday. Tennessee is the better football team. They have the better players right now. They have 2 years in the system where it's a brand new system that they're, coaching staff down there. Everything is set up for Tennessee next week. Tennessee needs to focus on Tennessee.
This super chat is absolutely amazing. I love it, but I'm trying to find. I got a clip. I got to play with it because it's. This is great. This is great. Robert. Let me go back up. Gosh, I hate StreamYard. I wish they would answer my emails. Robert McGee for $10. Thank you for the super chat, Robert. We appreciate that. He says, Gators, taters, haters, don't matter, balls by 50.
Oh, my God. We should leave it at that.
Okay.
We should close with that. That is the mind blower of mind blowers.
Good.
I'm with you. Boogie's muted.
You're muted, Boogie.
It pauses the clip on my end of StreamYard. It's a disaster. G. Smith for 5. Thank you for the super chat. 5-0 looks bright in our future, fellas. Milton throwing 60-yarders. Effortlessly accurate. David Zierline for 20. Thank you for the super chat. I didn't like the fight. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the fight. And I know I missed a couple of super chats, but I'll swing back around and get those. I just want to. David dropped a $20 super chat. I think we need to talk about it. What's the minimum? What's the minimum that Jimmy Callaway is out? It's got to be at least 4 games, right? The kid threw 5 unanswered punches. He's going to be out for a while. If not, I could see them getting crazy and saying he's done for the year. I can see it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like he's been in the doghouse anyway, and stuff. So, I don't think that Heupel's going to take this lightly. So he could be done for the year, and may actually be the last time that we ever see him in a Tennessee uniform too. Perhaps.
It was weird. I was the way the game was playing out. I was expecting something like that to happen, but it seemed like it was going to be on the other side of the ball. It seemed like it was going to be the defense because of everything that was going down with the quarterback. And let me get caught up on super chats. I want to catch up on super chats, and then I want to talk about penalties because you guys have kind of said we Tennessee needs to work on Tennessee. I think I made a video that was actually titled that Tennessee versus Tennessee. But I've got some questions whether or not they actually worked on what they needed to work on. Seals6XD for $2. Thank you for the super chat. Milton for some Wildcat packages. I don't know that you really need to do that because Hendon can run the football fine. I think that Milton just needs to get reps when he can in blowout games and be ready to go. He's going to be the starter in 2023. Mark my words. He's going to be the starter. Evan Counts for 2. Thank you for the super chat. 3 down. 1 to go in September. Yep, got to get that 4th one. Got to start September 4-0. I think that's going to be huge for this football team if they can do that. The momentum going into that LSU game, undefeated. I know it's on the road. I know it's tough. I've got to watch that LSU game, see how that played out tonight. I want to talk a little bit about penalties and what this team needed to work on tonight, whether or not they did it, but we do have almost 700 people watching live right now. So let me do some shilling. Do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up. If you're here, clearly you like one of us, probably JP. That's who most people like around here. If you like what we do for real, hit that thumbs up. We would appreciate it. If you're new, you're wondering what this is, it's for the fans, by the fans. We're just fans that get on here and talk about Tennessee football. If you like what we're doing, go ahead and subscribe. Click that bell for notifications. You won't miss out when we go live, when we drop videos, all that good stuff. We go live after every game. We do shows on Wednesday night, Sunday night. Seems like we're live all the time. But get subscribed, come hang out. And look, we're 300 subscribers away, right around 300 subscribers away from hitting 15,000. $15,000. I was reading somebody complain about not reading non-super chats as a $200 super chat's waiting to be read. Somebody wants me to read the free comments. I don't know why I don't read the free comments. I try. I'm doing the best I can. 300 subscribers away from 15,000. 15,000. Help us out. Share out the link. That completely threw me off my game. Go check out the merchandise. You can go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Look, I'm wearing something now. I'm wearing something similar. Can't see the lines, can you, Russ? Go check it out. Links are in the description below. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. See what happens when I try to do plugs and read comments at the same time. It's a recipe for disaster. But Brandon Lee says, hold my beer. Here's $200. That ain't cheap. Let me go ahead and play the clip, and it'll lock up, but we'll play it anyway because why not? We're not professionals around here.
Money isn't everything. It's the only thing. And everyone has a price for the $1 Million Man.
I should just play the short one at this point. No. I don't understand. I don't know what the deal is with StreamYard. Brandon Lee, that's very generous, man. $200. Thank you for that super chat. We appreciate it. Says, just a courtesy message. Love what y'all do. Appreciate that, Brandon. Very, very generous super chat. Thank you. Glad you enjoy what we do. It's some shenanigans around here, but we appreciate that support. Appreciate you hanging out, watching three idiots talk about Tennessee football. Well, maybe one idiot and two other guys. Let's talk about this football team making mistakes. Cleaning up. They got to focus on themselves, right? Got to improve running the football. I don't know if they got there, did that. You look at the grand scheme of things, overall numbers, I guess you could say they did. But it looked like they struggled on the offensive line doing that at times. What about the penalties? That was something we talked about too, was this team's got to clean up the penalties. And I know, like, the first half of the game doesn't really, they ended up with 11 penalties for 118 yards. That ain't going to cut it. But you look early in the game, there was a horrible offensive pass interference called on McCoy. Had another one late, a little bit later, that was kind of ticky-tack too. You had the ticky-tack, roughing the passer. Even the commentary team was talking about it. So what do you think, Snake? Got to clean up those penalties? I mean, again, you talk about speed. Florida's going to block a punt, half a second faster. They'll make you pay for not playing disciplined football too.
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, overall, yes. Overall, we have to cut down those penalties. But I really don't think it was a huge issue in this game other than the fight, which was just ridiculous. And some of those tic-tac penalties they called, yes, we need to clean it up. We can't have that many penalties for that much yardage against the next week against Florida. But overall, I wasn't too concerned. I think they actually, it did seem like they were coming out and trying to work on, running their schemes, tightening things up, cutting down on the penalties. 11. What was it? 11 for 118 yards.
Yeah.
I think it was okay. They can improve, but they can't have the second half go out of control like that against Florida. So.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of chippiness, obviously, with that, throughout the game. Several personal fouls, with all that stuff. But yeah, the refs were typical refs. I mean, typical SEC refs. They inconsistent. They were very, very ticky-tacky tonight. I thought several plays that or penalties that they called that. I didn't feel like that they were penalties, and like y'all said, the commentators didn't feel like that they were penalties either. But certainly, again, that's things that Tennessee has to work on because if you have, how much did they have, Snake? 100 and something yards worth of penalties tonight? Did you say
11 for 118 is what I had. So
I mean, that's not going to cut it when you get starting next week. That's not going to cut it.
Yeah.
Do you think, too, not necessarily tonight, but just in the grand scheme of things, when we talk about Josh Heupel and penalties, you think you're just naturally going to have more because you're running more plays, especially on offense, the procedure penalties, false starts, that type of stuff?
I do, yeah, and I think people have researched that before. I've read stuff on that, and they said that Heupel's had his teams have had a lot of penalties. And I mean, I guess it makes sense, as fast as that they go, players get tired. They start losing focus, those types of things that, causes them to maybe false start or maybe not line up correctly. But, I thought a couple of those offensive pass interference penalties just didn't make any sense tonight. But
oh yeah,
well, I don't get it, because if the defensive back engages you within 5 yards, you can engage them back. And that seemed to be what definitely the first one seemed ticky-tack. The second one maybe, because I think Brew McCoy kind of pursued the contact, so maybe, and the ball's in the air when that's going on. He was going to block. That's exactly what he was doing. That was clear. But the first one was horrible call. Horrible call. Let me hit this super – go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think, Hooker kind of struggled the first couple of weeks with the deep ball, so it was good to get that going tonight for sure. With him, both of those good tosses to Jalen Hyatt and the one to Squirrel with that. And was there somebody else that he threw a deep one too? Pretty good deep ball. I was thinking.
Yeah, he threw a few of them, but he was still high on a lot of short throws starting out, especially. And then, the one where I guess Tillman, where Cedric got hurt.
It was high.
That shouldn't have been so high. Where he was vulnerable, really. So
no, I certainly agree.
I think he can clean some stuff up for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how much more concern is there? Because we've seen this now 3 weeks in a row. He comes out and he struggles with accuracy in week 1. Okay, it's nerves. He's anxious. It's the first game, whatever. You expect him to clean that up the second week. We're still seeing it. Now we're 3 weeks in. We're still seeing it. And it is a concern. And, if you don't watch the game and you just pull up his stat line and you see 14 of 18 for 298 and 2 touchdowns, you're like, oh, wow, Hooker had a great game.
And you see the highlights of the bombs that we going downfield.
They're not going to show the short passes that are so high. And some of them, too, like Tillman bailed him out. Brew McCoy bailed him out last week a couple of times. It's concerning. It's concerning.
Do you think it could be some of the coaching? I mean, because, Milton – struggled with that, as we all know, and then we see sort of a trend that way. Is there something the coaching staff's doing with them? Are they telling them to do that? Is that I don't know. I don't know if that's what they tell you.
I feel like their accuracy was too different.
Above. I don't know if they tell them.
I feel like it was 2 different types of struggle. Milton seemed to not put enough air under the ball on his deep ball. That seemed why he missed. Hooker seems, I don't know, man. It's like you said, it's more the short. He's missed some deep balls too. It just seems different. We were having this debate and conversation in a previous live stream, maybe on the Wednesday night show, and somebody in the chat said that they were trying to change his delivery or his footwork or something. I don't know if that's accurate. I've not. JP, have you heard that anywhere?
I haven't. I mean, I know that the coaches have been saying, first two games that they thought early on in the game he had some footwork issues, that he wasn't, I guess, setting his feet properly and so forth like that. They said early on in the games. I guess he's settled down. But, yeah, I mean, all 3 games this year, he's been high for sure. And definitely seems to be the case, with a lot of those passes to the outs, to the sidelines and so forth like that. And that's so key, because if your timing's off, or if the wide receivers have to jump up or to catch that, then that makes it more difficult for them to get the yards after catch. And Tennessee made a living on those yak plays last year with Belvis Jones and Peyton for sure, and even Tillman.
I don't know, but I wouldn't think you'd want to throw it high for tip balls. That's the main thing I was worried about. So I don't know why.
I don't.
Maybe he's trying to get over the line and avoid tipped balls on the line. But heck, he had a great game overall.
Oh yeah, and I mean, that's what Xavier said right there on that chat that Biggie showed. I mean that is the thing about Hooker, is that he doesn't do bad things with football. Yes, he has been inconsistent more than I'm sure that the coaching staff would like this year with some of his throws and so forth like that. But all in all, I mean, it's really hard to complain. But there's certainly things that that he can improve upon for sure.
You know,
Do
in
you
the
think
past,
some of Go
in the
ahead.
past, you know, these plays like this that we're talking about would have cost us a game in the past. And
Oh yeah,
now this
especially
offense is
last
so
week. Yeah.
yeah. So now this offense is so good that we don't even worry about those things. We just kind of say, well, he could have made a better pass there. But you know, in the past with our anemic offenses we've had for the last few years, it is very refreshing to be able to just come out and score, you know, 7 or 8 touchdowns, and then we'll be like, well, okay. That was pretty good offense.
Before Hooker came out of the game, the only time they didn't score was the missed field goal. They scored a touchdown every other possession, and then they put Milton in, ran it 3 times, and punted. And then they had a couple of punts, whatever. But do you think, I'm reading some of the comments coming in as you guys are talking, do you think some of it's that he's too amped up, that maybe the pressure's getting to him? The pressure, all the hype and all the talk in the offseason, and everybody, you know, these high expectations. And, you know, it's something that Alex Golesh talked about, was he was so good on the basketball court because he played loose and relaxed and he was having fun. But when the pressure gets dialed up and it's more business, he struggles. And I wonder if that's some of it. I wonder if he's put so much pressure on himself that he's coming into these games a little amped up. And I think they may have even kind of said something similar to that in the commentary on the game, is that, you know, once he gets hit a couple of times, he settles in and throws a little bit better.
I don't think so. I think this team is confident enough and loose enough that Heupel's overall, you know, attitude towards scheming and game planning and the team, you know, Cornbread, I think, had them all, you know, tight most of the time. But I don't think this team plays like that. I think he comes out fairly loose. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe the opposite. Who knows?
I don't know. The chat's kind of split on it. Let me get caught up on Super Chats here real quick. I appreciate you guys hanging out with us for this post-game show. Reminder, I'll be live tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. Eastern time, playing some NCAA football, and we'll kind of recap this game in a very laid-back atmosphere because I'm so professional tonight. You could tell by the stuff I was saying about 15 minutes ago. But I'll be dropping a video tomorrow, probably like 10, 11 o'clock in the morning, recapping the game as well, so make sure you guys check that out. Let me go back here. Joel for 10. Joel Surt for $10. Thank you for the super chat. Says, about time to sit down with Boogie and build that gaming PC. Yeah, but the funny thing is it's not my computer that's the problem, because the clips play fine. It's once you get into 600 people in the chat, StreamYard does not like it, and it struggles to do anything. So, yeah, now most of the time it is my computer, Joel. But thank you for the $10. G. Smith for 2. Thank you for that super chat. Finally got to see Taven Jackson and Justin Williams-Thomas. What are your thoughts? Taven Jackson let him down the field. I thought he looked fine.
Yeah.
Good mop-up duty.
Yeah, I thought that certainly he looked a lot better this game than he did that first game against Ball State. And I thought the same for Justin Williams-Thomas too. You know, in the little bit that he got in, thought that he ran fairly well. But you know, I mean, it's Akron. It was, you know, 6 minutes to go in a 50 plus point game or whatever, you know. So you know, with that, so I mean, the main thing with that is just getting those guys live game reps. You know, that's the main thing with that, you know. And I was watching Sampson some in there, and again, like I said earlier, you know, I was glad to see you know, certainly I didn't want to see him get in because Small got hurt and went out. But I was hoping that they would be able to get Sampson some run with the first team offense tonight. So, which they were able to do. So I think that was great for him. And I was watching him, you know, some of those pass protections and stuff like that, because obviously, you know, that's where that he's going to have to step up and, you know, get better at, because I would say that that's one thing that is probably, you know, keeping him from being able to see the field right now. But we'll see what actually happens this coming week, because if he's healthy, you know, there could be a possibility that he has to play Saturday against the Gators.
Yeah, I'm way more confident that Cedric Tillman plays than I am Jabari Small. Just because it's the shoulder, man, and it nagged him so much last year. You hate to say it about a kid, but he just seems injury prone. He just does. It seems like his whole career has been he's constantly hurt. Mark Wilson, 2 for 20. Thank you for the super chat. Why didn't we call a timeout and review that interception in the end zone? I didn't think he caught it. I thought he was bobbling it. And he pointed at the board real quick and then kind of just stopped. So I wonder if he saw it too. And I didn't think he caught it.
I don't think he secured it until he was out of bounds.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, I'd say that's what it is, and probably just the fact that, at that point in time, it was still a 50-point game or whatever, and probably that it could have been a case where, Heupel would have rather for him to kick field goal. Maybe he was wanting to, work on a field goal block or something like that. Who knows?
Dylan Elam for 5. Thank you for Super Chat. Florida has struggled with scrubs, and LSU's locker room is turning on Brian Kelly. Get after QB and air it out, and let's be 5-0 going into Bama.
That's right.
I believe that. I believe that until I sit down by myself and nobody's around. I'm like, there's no way that's going to happen. But on paper, I believe it, Dylan. I'm with you. You'll know the truth. You'll know where I stand on the Wednesday night show at about 7:58 p.m. Eastern time when we make our predictions. And I pick Florida to beat Tennessee. You'll know where I really stand.
I'm about to get confident enough to put 20 on Florida. That's all I'm going to say. You know what that means.
20 on Florida.
Yeah, you know how I used to do.
Feels like 98. That's what that feels like.
98.
That's what I'm talking about. That was a good plan Snake always had. He always bet on the other team. So either he was happy Tennessee won or he made a little money.
Now, I was never happy when we lost, but I get $20 or however much I put down.
Makes it a little soften the blow a little bit. Joseph NR for 2. Thank you for the super chat. Offensive pass interference wasn't called on Hyatt. I was kind of surprised by that too, to be honest with you. Kind of surprised me. Let me see. I think I may be caught up. Do I have one more here?
Yeah, Brad's asking, or it's not super chat, but Brad's asking about. Yeah. That's we talked about Dylan Sampson going down. It was there in the third quarter, I think, out in the flats. He got rolled up, and of course, announcers they never said anything about it. So I did see one time they were showing the sidelines, and somebody was over there working with him and stuff. So I guess that. That's the bad thing about college is that they don't have to disclose any kind of injuries or anything like that, unlike the NFL where they have to have an injury report and everything. So I guess we'll just have to wait as this week goes on to see what how serious or the availability of all these players for the Florida game.
Yeah,
I'd say we're not going to know anything about it. We're not.
There was some people in the chat evidently must have been listening to Heupel's post game, and they were saying that I think they were saying that Tillman and Small was okay, but again, obviously Heupel's not going to say anything tonight, and they probably don't 100% know tonight. Especially if they need to do some testing or something like that. Who knows?
Yeah, he's not going to talk about it. He won't talk about it tonight. He said it when they asked him going into the locker room. He's like, yeah, they're fine. Don't know if they're going to play in this game, but they're fine.
Yeah.
And he'll give you vague answers. And that's fine. I would do the same thing. Don't give him any advantage whatsoever. Or if you know he's healthy, just say he's going to be out and then let him trot him out there on Saturday. Let's see here.
Could be the biggest concern going into the game, really. Small and Sampson.
Yeah. I mean, it's
a big deal.
Yeah, it's like it's like two of the most important players that obviously with Tillman, and then the fact that the running back room is so short anyway, with bodies and talent. So
it's that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mark Wilson for 5. Thank you for super chat. I think the announcers were on drugs because they were all over the place. They focused on weird things, man. Like some of the stuff they talked about was so just off the wall, and it's like, how do you miss Dylan Sampson going down? There were so many things that they missed. They didn't let you know what was happening. That was so frustrating. But that's what happens when you're on. Yeah, that's what happens when you're on ESPN Plus. That's what you get.
Mm-hmm.
Xavier with a good point about the running back. So Wright did look good tonight, and I was this just kind of go back to what you said there with Dylan Sampson not knowing he was out. Jalen Wright was out there, and I was like, why in the world is he getting so much run? Are they trying to just get him contact and say, prove that you're not going to fumble the ball? I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know why Dylan Sampson wasn't out there. So, I don't know. The commentary team is pretty weak. What'd you guys think about the secondary play? I thought they struggled quite a bit. Warren Burrell out today, so I was excited to see Christian Charles get some run. And then I said to myself midway through the game, now I see why Warren Burrell's starting. I was not impressed with Christian Charles. And look, he's a young kid. And who else was out there? Christian Harris. You had some freshmen out there. Harrison was out there. Turntine was out there. I wasn't impressed with him. There was
Walker
a lot of guys
trailing
across the middle. So far behind.
That's the biggest problem with this defense is these teams, for whatever reason, the middle of the field is open on this defense. I don't know if it's the linebackers. I don't know if it's I think part of it's safeties. I think it's a combination of it. But yeah, there's I think that we are what we are in the secondary with that, and that's why that this offense is going to have to be on point because there are going to be some of those games where this offense is going to have to score the other team.
Wayne in the chat said he was impressed with that Turnage did okay. Yeah, I saw him a couple of times, but he didn't pop out. And again, we're live
watching it
after the game.
Yeah,
it's hard. It's hard.
Just hard.
Yeah, can't see the whole play. So.
Yeah, it's very.
But that quarterback,
with that.
The quarterback could have been like 12 for 12 at one point there. I mean, he was lighting us up, and had a drop pass down there, and they're going to have to get better, but we can't see really what's going on TV, I don't think, and we don't really know at that point what the scheme was, what plays they were calling, especially getting some new guys in there. It is a concern, though. It's a big concern going into next week.
But I just go back to the same philosophy. Just blitz PlayStation style. Blitz everybody and see what happens, and then just go score the next drive to answer back. But,
yeah, get some hits like we did on Slovis. I mean, get some hits on him next week.
And I thought the kid tonight, he got hit, man. He got hit a lot tonight, a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think. A lot of times they don't put out the defensive stats until later, so I don't know how many sacks Tennessee actually ended up with. Did they get it? They got him to the ground. I know Herring had two. Who else? There was another young James Pierce got one. That was good to see. Yeah. James Pierce get a sack. Joshua Joseph's got a lot of play today.
Yeah, there was somebody there at the end too. I forget who it was. Herring, and then there was another one in on it. I thought. Let's see, Tyree West. I saw him out there.
He got a lot of play.
Saw the number 90. What's his name? Dominic Bailey. He was out there. Yeah, I mean, lots and lots of guys playing. Which that's what that this game was all about. Obviously, was to get more and more of these younger guys in. I thought somebody's asking how Barron and Young did. I thought that they did fine. Obviously, once they was in there, I thought that Young looked really quick a couple of times off of the edge. I think that first game against Ball State, I think it must have been just the type of defense, the type of scheme that we were trying to play that game, knowing that they were going to get the ball out quick. But tonight, I thought that there was a couple of times that he got back there in the backfield really, really, really quick. So with that. Of course, last week he was the defensive player of the week or defensive lineman, for the SEC for that game against Pitt. So we got to have him certainly continue to step up and to get pressure. So, again, I mean, tonight it's one of those games that, just take care of business and try to avoid injuries, which, that's the biggest concern leaving this game tonight is the injuries. By far.
We didn't even really talk about Jalen Hyatt and how good he looked tonight. We not even said his name.
Yeah.
Oh, we're horrible.
They got the ball
for 55 minutes.
They got the ball to him, but they kind of gave up on Brew, didn't they? I mean, I think that they just wanted to come out and give Brew some opportunities early in the game, and then they're going to scheme around Brew next week. That's what I think is going to happen. But yeah, they got the ball to Jalen, and he was on fire tonight.
What do you have? 160-some yards and two TDs.
Yep, 5 catches, 166 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know what's nice on the slant? That he just smoked everybody. We're so used to seeing the opposite side of that, where some speedy wide receiver, and it's like our DBs don't have SEC speed. It's nice to have a guy on the field, a lot of guys. This team is faster all over the field. They've got so much more speed. But it's like that's legitimate SEC speed. Poor Akron had no chance.
And that was kind of a new wrinkle for seems to be for this offense, because I don't think Heupel throws a lot usually across the middle. So
we've seen it back-to-back weeks go for 6.
Yeah, that they kind of chart that. If they how many passes to the middle between the hashes, and how many to the left, and how many to the right. But I think that they've done some studies on that, and have seen that Heupel's offensive doesn't usually use the middle of the field much. I don't even think that we had a pass we had one tonight to the tight end. Fant.
Yeah,
he caught that.
It was like a little out. It was a little out.
Yeah.
Out. No, he had 2. He had 2 because he had 2. I think he had 2 catches back to back. Actually,
back to back. Did Jacob Warren even play? I didn't
see him the whole night.
Yeah, he must be banged up. I knew that they said that he.
No, he did. He had a catch. He had a catch for 17.
Yeah,
what are you watching?
Warren had a catch.
Yeah, 1 catch for 17. It seemed irrelevant. Yeah,
I watched the whole game. I swear it did.
That one didn't stand out. Let me hit this super chat from Bear Strength Fitness. Appreciate the $5. Says Tennessee will have a solid chance in every game this year, and that's enough for me right now. So realistically, guys, as we get ready to wrap up the post-game show, realistically, Snake, put you on the spot, make you sound like an idiot.
Thanks.
Realistically, heading into the Alabama game, you got Florida coming to town next week.
Great brushing and flossing routine can be exciting.
That's JP. I can tell by the look on his face.
No,
it was Snake. It was Snake. Snake's got a YouTube video playing in the background.
No, I had the stats up, and the commercial just all this randomly started playing in the background. Sorry.
Are you on ESPN? It keeps playing highlights on the one I've got up. It's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. Anyway, hey, for the fans, by the fans. Nobody here is professional. I get pissed when people say we're professional. We're not professional. We're just hanging out shooting the bull. Anyway, realistically, moving into the Bama game, you got Florida coming to town 3:30. Hopefully, game day is going to be there. I don't know if they'll show up or not. But then LSU on the road. Can this football team be 5-0 going into that Bama game?
Yeah. Oh yeah, they can, for sure. And I think we're almost to the point where that's our expectation. But that's a dangerous, slippery slope to get into. But they can definitely. I think LSU looked better tonight than Florida did, so
I agree.
think we can get past both of them. Can you imagine? Can you imagine winning those next 2 games? Amazing. That would be amazing. Don't count your chickens, but we can do it. Yeah.
That's why, you know what? I feel like the confidence level in this fan base is so dang high right now. Like somebody in the chat, I don't know if it was Dakota, Sammy P. Dakota, throwing this type of stuff out there. And these people, they believe that this team can win 11 games. And, I made a video this week, and I said, is Tennessee back? And I don't think Tennessee's back. I think they're heading in the right direction to being back. But it's like people snap back and it's like, stop talking about that. We're not there yet. And it's like, man, when you gauge the fan base, it certainly seems like they feel that we're back. But what does it take to be back, JP? You got to beat Georgia and Bama. Does that mean you're back?
No, I don't.
Game this week.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely have to beat this Florida team, to have any kind of talk of balls are back and I mean, you have to beat this Florida team because number one, they're just not that good. And yes, it's going to be a tough football game, and I don't expect Tennessee to just blow them off the map or anything like that. But if Tennessee comes out and plays an A game, which they're capable of doing, they're going to win Saturday. They are going to win Saturday because they have the better team.
See,
they got the better quarterback, and I think that they got a better defense. I think I didn't look at the stats. I was kind of I had that game streaming on my phone there in the second half while I was watching the rest of that Tennessee game. Maybe that's why I didn't see some of these guys get catches for Tennessee that I've been told about. But anyway, they at one point there in the second half, South Florida had already rushed for like 240 some yards. So I don't know what they ended up with, but Tennessee can definitely win that ball game Saturday. And to talk about anything about being back, you've got to take care of Florida Saturday for sure.
That's right.
Yeah, that's where it starts. It starts with Florida. Bear Strength Fitness for $5. Thank you for the super chat. Says one more tip for the road. See y'all on Friday, or see y'all at Florida. Good Lord, maybe I need to just go to bed. Maybe we should start over. You guys want to shut it down and just set up a new stream, and I'll just delete this?
No.
Oh, okay. We'll leave it up. Appreciate that super chat, Bear Strength Fitness. See y'all at Florida. Y'all at Florida. Starts on Saturday, man. What?
Somebody's talking about Juwan Mitchell. We finally got to see Mitchell back tonight. I thought, of course, I wasn't like paying like super attention to him the whole time, but looked like that he made a couple of plays and was kind of flying around. So looks like at least that he's bought in, and I think that he's definitely going to help this football team. I think, Boogie, that I was asking you about Beasley. I don't think Beasley played a whole lot tonight, though, right?
Yeah,
it didn't look like it.
The conversation we were having was interesting. They were asking on VolQuest because the starters were Juwan Mitchell and Aaron Beasley. Play number 2, Beasley comes out and Banks comes in. So people were asking on VolQuest about it, and AP said that apparently Jeremy Banks wasn't dialed in the way they wanted him dialed in. So I guess it was like a little slap on the wrist. You won't get the start. But we saw a lot of Jeremy Banks and Juwan Mitchell, and going into the year, those were the 2. We thought those guys were going to be the 2. So I wonder if that's your starting linebackers. But just what makes you scratch your head is how good Aaron Beasley's been playing.
Yeah, there's no way that they're going to take Beasley out right now. I think that it might have been a case where, maybe that they just didn't want to play him as much because, last week in a physical game and maybe that he was banged up a little bit or something like that. But,
well, they had to get Juwan in, right? They had to get in some reps.
Yeah.
So let him get in there and play some meaningful reps at the first of the game. And Beasley came in and laid some licks, I thought. But
he was in there a little bit.
Yeah, he's been.
But it's a good problem to have if you got 4 linebackers you can trust. Of course, I don't know how much Page. Page has got a lot. He's got a lot of experience from last year. But
I tell you what, I'm really excited about Caleb Herring, though. I really am. Or not, well, Caleb, but Elijah Herring. I think that he looks physically ready to play. He does. I think that he looks physically ready. And he was showing some emotions out there tonight too. He was into it for sure. So that was great to see.
Everybody on that defense was showing emotion because that prick of a quarterback on the other team.
That's
why they were showing it.
He was a competitor, man.
He brought it out of him. It's 42-0, and he's running that mouth.
But it wasn't just him. It was that whole team.
Yeah.
And them going at their legs and knees. I mean, that was a scary play down there at the goal line on that read option. That guy come flying in there and took Hooker's knees out from underneath him. I mean, that was I wasn't too crazy. I'd say
power in him, man. That's good for him.
I don't think Heupel would be too crazy with some of the plays that Akron was
They're gonna
doing
have to deal
tonight
with that this week,
after he
too.
watches that. So
It's going to be dirty this week too. So let's get after it.
Well, I just want to remind you guys, we got a busy week. It's Florida week. Like we said, season starts now. Pitt was the biggest game of the season, but it's in the rearview mirror. Akron wasn't a game. It was a scrimmage. Biggest game of the year starts Saturday, so there's going to be a ton of content coming your way. Locked On Vols is back. Locked On Talkin VAWLS. Eric Kane is going to be back. Eric Kane of VolQuest.com is going to be on the channel Tuesday night. Now, that's the fan call-in show. So Eric Kane's going to come on at 9 o'clock, hang out with me for about 20, 30 minutes. I'll chat with him, and then we'll open up the fan call-in. So we'll go a little bit longer. We'll go probably 90 minutes on Tuesday night. Tomorrow, got a video dropping probably around 10 or 11 in the morning. Look, I'm going to go to sleep, and I'm going to put some thoughts together and not be rambling and fumbling my words for the day after video. So make sure you check that out. And then tomorrow night, 6:30, I'll be live as well. Tuesday night fan call-in show. Wednesday at 7. Dauber should be back on the show. Should be a great week. Tons of content. I'll be going on Locked On Vols with Eric Kane, too. Going to record something with him on Monday, so that'll probably be up sometime Tuesday, Wednesday. I will let you guys know. But if you haven't hit that thumbs up, do that for us on the way out the door. We would appreciate it. Go check out the merch. Go check out our NIL affiliate through Spire Sports Group. That's in the description below. Appreciate all the love and support you guys give this channel. It blows my mind. You want to hear 3 idiots, one idiot and 2 just regular dudes stumble through a live stream. We appreciate it. Thank you, guys. He's JP. He's Snake. My name is Boogie Bentley. Go Big Orange.
That we call home.